Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to do a video on basically fuel delivery problems on Bobcat skid steers. Specifically the older ones, like 90s, early 2000s, like the older mechanical rigs. For instance, we got two sitting here. We got a 763 and a 751. The 763 seems to be like running out of fuel. Literally feels like it's running out of fuel. I go to put fuel in it, and it just comes burping out of the top. I can only get like a gallon in it. Then I prime it. It seems to run okay for a little bit. Then it like runs out of fuel again. I don't know if it's a vent issue or what it is, but what I'm gonna do is I gotta lift the cab up, which the cylinders are gone. So I have to use the excavator to tilt the cab up. We gotta get to the top of the tank because right now it is out of fuel, supposedly, and see what is in that tank for fuel. Then we can dive into see what else might be going on. So the 763 here, this one, and I know there's a ton of these out there. This has actually the bulletproof Kubota diesel engine in it, and it has the primer bulb. And like I said, right now, if you squeeze it, I can hear air, which like sounds like the tank is completely empty, but yet the gauge reads full, which we're not going to rely on that. And then I go to try to put fuel in it, and it doesn't want to take fuel. I feel like it's a venting issue myself, but I don't know. We got to get under the cab because, of course, the top of the tank is under the cab, and there's no like safe way to do it, specifically, unfortunately. So do as I say, not as I do. We're gonna strap this, come up with the excavator from behind it, and kind of pull up and back to get to the max height, and then we'll block it up, or what are we gonna do to make it safe so I can climb in there. This one does work. We got a hydraulic hose. We got to deal with that one. We can do a different video on that, but. All right, so let me grab the machine. We'll loop this up, get it open, and get into the meat of this. All right, so of course we're in our Bobcat 731 mini excavator here. About 3,600 hours. This is a good machine. Few leaks here and there, a little loose here and there, but it's good for what we do. Just starting out in the light excavation business. So let's see if I can't pull that cab. I want to just go up and then pull backwards because it's a hinge. As far as that goes. So, I'm going up. So, I'll go backwards. Slowly. Until it stops. I don't want to break anything. I really gotta get new tilt cylinders for this thing, because that sucks. Alright, so clearly that tips way further back when you don't have the lift assist on it. So, yay, it's back. Fuel tank, hose, fill hose, way down there. All right, relatively safe. The weight is off the boom of the excavator, and now it's on a ratchet strap. It's way past the fulcrum point, so all the weight's back here anyway, so it's relatively safe. All right, so I think it's just vented through the cap. I don't know if there's an additional vent beyond that because it's tucked underneath the hydraulic pump, but as you can see down there, there's a pickup line and a return line in the tank. And I know the pickup line has a line going down, and that could be broken off because that's wicked common. These are all intact. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up a little bit here and then take those hoses off so we can pull them out of the grommets and see exactly what is what in there. Plus I wanna see how much fuel's in it. All right, relatively speaking, we got it clean for the situation we're in. I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the one closest to me, and we can dip the tank too. I wanna know how much fuel's in this darn tank. All right, now I don't know if this is the pickup or the return, unfortunately, but this is the forwardmost port right here. And clearly the hose is deteriorated and gone off this thing. So that's a problem. If it's the return, would you stop? If it's the return, it's not such a big deal. But if it's the supply, that's a problem. So either way, I'm gonna have to pull the rear one out too, and it's tougher to get to, but kind of a good sign that we found that. So you definitely need to go to this if you're running out of fuel and you're not getting prime and the thing's shutting off and you think your tank's full. And it may be. I'm going to stick it right now. All right, I just stuck the tank, and it is, I'd say, a good 3/4 full. You can almost see the fuel in there. If I had a light, I could probably look in there. yeah, I can see the fuel. So it's full. And that was a problem with that line. So I guess we got to get to the next one and try that. You know, I just thought of something. Since it's so hard to get to the rear one, I'm going to put a line on this front one and stick it back in there. Prime the system and see if this thing starts. And maybe that'll take care of our problem altogether because it's full. Before I go ahead and pull the rear one out, I'm going to throw a piece of fuel line on this, which it had. And I guess if it was returned, I'm not sure why you'd have one on there. So I'm thinking this is the one. All right, guys, I went inside on the laptop here, pulled up the Bobcat website, which is really good for schematics and stuff, and you know your model, serial number, and everything like that. But I verified the front hose, which is right here, comes through here. That's the piece that goes in the tank, number 11 that we lost. Comes over to the primer bulb to the injector pump. So that was, in fact, the pickup line. All right, so I got a piece of 1/4-inch fuel line on here. I got to straighten it out a little bit there. And I'm going to take the grommet off from here because it's hard naturally, and it's going to suck to try to get that in with the fitting. So we put the grommet in the tank first, and then the fitting in the hose through the grommet. So yeah, let's do that. And I just thought of something. One other thing we didn't do, and I failed to mention, grease on my face, is we didn't put anything on the end of that hose, like a screen or any type of filter. So we're relying on the filter of the machine itself solely. So keep that in mind. You could put some type of pickup screen or anything else on there as well. All right, here we go. Grommet's off. Put a little bit of lube on there so things will go together better so we can test this. All right, and I know I said I was going to pull them both out, but the fact that the front one, the easier one to get to, I pulled out first and the hose is broken right off. We're going to go with that and then see if we can't prime the system and start this thing before we go and try to get to the rear one. Just because, well, you can, but it's tougher. So I'm just, I guess, proving the point that if you're having a fuel issue, and we don't know this is the answer yet, but you need to start here. All right, so all back together. We'll go to the back here. I'll show you. We'll get the primer bulb going. And there's another thing you can do, and I'm going to do if this thing works. I got a fuel filter because that could be an issue too, is you got a partially clogged filter. I don't think it's the case, especially now that we found that smoking gun, that broken line. But we'll look at it. Besides, I don't like being underneath that cap, to be honest with you, at all. Now I'm not liking being underneath the excavator bucket. So I'm going to lower that because we got the straps. All right, we'll get that out of the way. No more safety hazard there. Here's the bleeder on the fuel filter I was talking about. Here's the primer bulb, and that might have been all we were going through is right here. So you could hear air before, and I'm instantly pulling fuel. Instantly, I can feel it now hard, and it wasn't like that before. So yeah, I know, I have a feeling this thing's gonna fire right up and probably be fine. But I'm going to do a fuel filter in it regardless because it's the right thing to do. And you do that. You can also, like I said, you fill the filter up. You could put it on dry, to be honest with you, and open that bleed screw, and you are usually good to go. But I bet you this thing will fire up and run fine. What I'm not sure about is if I can start it as it sits with the cab tilted back. I feel like it might. I can do this without falling down. Working on equipment is dangerous stuff. It just is. We'll leave the glow plugs a couple of seconds and see if it'll turn over. Hopefully not take off or do anything funky. Just remember, she had a lot of air in it. She had a lot of air in the system, so we gotta let that out. It's gonna bleed itself through. All right, I think we got it. Working on equipment and the older equipment, like these older Bobcats and stuff, most of the systems on it, I don't say they're simple, but they're mostly mechanical. There's not much electronics on these things, which is good in a way. And, you know, as much as the new machines are very nice and smooth and the whole deal, these ones aren't as smooth or any of that, but yet they are easier to work on, especially for the average mechanic. Yeah, so it is what it is. You've got mechanical hydraulics, a mechanical fuel pump. I mean, so we're getting fuel now. I think that was the smoking gun. I'm not going to dig into the back one. I'm going to go ahead and run this around for a good half an hour. You'll know pretty much right away. The fact that it's running right now and it wouldn't even start before, that's probably the answer. But worst case scenario, you go into the back one. But with that being said, if you got a fuel delivery problem on these older skid steers, and you can verify, you got to fill the cab back, be safe, verify this fuel in the tank. You got to pull that grommet out of there, pull that fuel line out of there, and that's a common fault for these things. The fuel line just rots and falls off, and then you're just sucking air unless the tank is completely full, which is what was happening with this, because it wouldn't take any more fuel. So I hope this video helped some folks out there with the older Bobcat skid steers. Let me know. I can post some more videos as we work on these things. I got a hydraulic hose we got to change on one of these next. That's actually a really hard one to get to. So on the boom in the back corner, so we can go over that as well. But with that being said, this is Scott Flip and Customize. I appreciate all you folks. If you could like, follow, subscribe. It helps our little channel out. Take care, guys.